Here's my last myth in this series. It's myth number 6. It's the idea that if we come up with the strategy, then the rest will just happen. It doesn't work like that. Digital transformation is not like another project that we need to layer on top of the organization, especially when we have busy organizations. And I've yet to walk into an organization when they said, oh, actually, we're not that busy at the moment. Everybody's flat out. And when it comes to a leadership level, things are 10 times worse. Everybody wants a slice of the leaders, slice of the managers. They're the guys that have got all of these reports on their table and they're being asked to read them all. When you then start to push that into the organization a little bit deeper, what we see happening is the problem around T-shaped thinking. What we are seeing more and more in the digital economy is the inordinate amount of distractions that are taken away from the ability of managers and leaders to actually get space and time to think deeply about existing problems. We have these broad ideas of working on lots of projects, firefighting, emails, phone calls, and when you put more projects on top of people, they get stretched further and further and further until it's simply a matter of trying to knock away the problem that is sitting, that's most pronounced and most urgent on the desk at that moment in time. Transformation will not happen in that environment. It's never going to work because transformation needs deep thinking, and that's this long, thin line. Taking one major problem at a time, no emails, no phone calls, spending time solving that diagnosed problem, creating minimum viable products, testing out if the ideas are going to work, and then delivering both quantitative and qualitative data outputs on whether or not the product or service is actually going to work. It'll all be done leveraging technology, taken as for granted. The technology ain't the hard bit here. It's getting time to focus on that. And yet, most organizations would prefer to constantly patch up broken systems, broken methods, than to get into actually solving some of the deep, frustrating problems that they may have or that their customers may have. There are books upon books that talk about time management and leadership management and how to get into this area of flow, as it has often been called by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi in his best-selling book of the 90s. Then we have a new book called by Cal Newport called Deep Work, both recommended reading, but they will tell you the same thing. The winners will not be those who are sitting on the top line of the T, but those who can take the time out and the capacity out in order to do deep thinking around a single product, proposition, problem, whatever it happens to be. And it may be that T, the long, thin, 1 mile deep, 1 inch wide part of the T, we have to use it to overcome existing business problems to create capacity to allow for transformation. That may actually be the case. But the leadership are the ones that have to make the space to make this happen. And it's more than just space. If people leave their existing roles, subject matter experts, communications people, leaders, operational people, whoever they happen to be, and they then go back a week later or 2 weeks later back into the fold of normality, and in waiting for them is a stack of emails, dozens of phone calls, and unmet messages, then they will become reluctant to ever go into T-shaped thinking, and they will get stretched even further along the top line. So the rest of the organization needs to be able to support those who are going to go into these deep mindset classes where nothing else is going to distract them, and they must come out with a problem solved leveraging technology. Or the result can also be that the problem is unsolvable using our train of thinking and move on to the next. That environment has to be created by leadership. Some call it an agile environment, some call it an innovation environment, but the leadership needs to set the pace on that. Because if you as leaders go into the room and interrupt these people, then anybody can interrupt them. If you don't give them the space, then no one's going to take it on. And if we don't commit that we're going to solve long-standing issues, and it will only come from 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep, as opposed to 1 mile wide, 1 inch deep activity that we're currently doing, if you don't change that formula around, then it ain't going to work. So just by creating the digital mindset, by educating people isn't enough. The actions need to follow it from a leadership perspective. I think I'm over baking this cake a little bit. You get it now. Thanks for watching this video. We're going to be moving on to a different section in the next video where we take a look at more case study based work. I'll ask a few extra questions that I want you to be able to answer, but this kind of brings you into the myths. Thanks for watching.